Well, Mikael Valtersson is a military analyst and former officer for the Swedish Armed Forces, joining us live from Stockholm. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd really like to draw on your military expertise that we just heard there and ask you, what exactly do you think this money will be spent on?
Well, the main thing is what Zelensky said on drone production, because the Ukrainian military is relying very much on drones. The Russian forces have at least 2-to-1 superiority in the numbers of soldiers. And I have heard from the front that there often are very limited number of Ukrainian soldiers defending positions. But drones are the weapon that the Ukraine uses to at least reduce the speed of Russian attacks, and often also destroying entire Russian units that are trying to attack. So it limits the speed that Russia can advance, and it's very important. Nowadays, Russia has at least parity or maybe superiority also in drones. But when you are defending, it's a very important weapon. It's more important than when you are attacking. So continue the large-scale drone production in Ukraine, and probably in the western part, because it's becoming more and more hazardous to produce things in the eastern part of Ukraine.
Mikael, $105 billion, which is this amount, sounds like an eye-watering amount to most of us. How much difference can that make on a battlefield?
Well, it won't make much difference compared to, for example, this year. But without those money, it would be a catastrophe for Ukraine, because they couldn't keep the state, the soldiers, the weapons productions working. So this is just something that helps Ukraine to survive, not to win the war.
I see what you mean. In terms of Ukraine's weaknesses, I think you touched upon this with the drones. You said how important they were. Do you think that Ukraine's military defences, in terms of their air defences, are their big weakness?
Yes, that's one very big weakness, because we have seen that the number of Russian missiles and drones that pass through the Ukrainian air defense has been increasing during this year. And we see no stop in it. And there are very large limitations in the number of advanced air defense systems in the West that could be transferred to Ukraine. So even if Ukraine had the money to buy them, there are very great limitations.
Mikael Valtersson is a military analyst and former officer for the Swedish Armed Forces. Joining us from Stockholm, we thank you.
Thank you.